Hey, what's going on? It's Stokely from Sauce on Delay. Life is good. You know, God is good. You know, you don't gotta believe. I'm not trying to offend you, but you know, I gotta give thanks. I mean, imagine if somebody's giving you something and you don't say thanks, and then they give you more stuff and you don't say thanks, and then you're rude to them and they keep giving you stuff and you don't say thanks. You know, so that's me. You know, when I say that I'm rude, you know, I'm committing sins. I'm violating the rules of of the transactional relationship. In that you show respect, you get respect back. You show respect, you get good treatment. You show disrespect, you get discipline. You know what I mean? So that's how I look at it. It's not necessarily, I don't look at it, whatever. How I look at it doesn't really matter. It's a personal relationship, right? So, what I did want to talk about is, organic food, pesticides. Now, I did an episode 2 years ago. I'm already on the third year regarding the podcast, but 2 years ago I did an episode talking about GMO and organic. What's the difference? Now, you know, a lot of people already know that, but GMO is genetically modified. Organic, strangely, doesn't have anything to do with genetics necessarily. It has to do with how long the farmer ceases use of pesticides before he reaps the crops. Right? How long before he reaps the crops does he stop using pesticides? That's what makes it organic. It doesn't mean that the genome, the DNA of the plant is what people would call heirloom, which is like a old DNA that no company has a copyright on, and that's another conversation. It just means that they stop using pesticides a certain amount of time before they reap the crops. So that's what makes it organic. So that, me personally, that doesn't really comfort me a lot, because that means they're still using pesticides, and the pesticides could be embedded inside of the plant anyhow. But the reason why pesticides are necessary is because there are pests. You know what I mean? There's like locusts, there's bugs, there's worms. All these things, they like to eat the same things that we like to eat too. You know, what they end up doing sometimes is eating up the plants that the farmers are producing for our consumption. So if they eat up the plants, then we have less food. So that creates a situation of greater food insecurity, right? So the pesticides are necessary to some capacity to mass produce food. And the mass production of food is how we prevent hunger. So, good. Yes, we want to prevent hunger. Now, in the process of preventing hunger, we're using chemicals and pesticides that make us sick, that actually maybe extend life in the sense of you're not starving, but reduce your lifespan or reduce your quality of life due to the illnesses that can be caused by the pesticides. Now, you know, I have neighbors. I have one neighbor over where I used to live and one neighbor where I live now, and a relative who have recently developed Parkinson's, symptoms of Parkinson's. And we already had a discussion on this podcast about Parkinson's disease being connected to the gut biome. Now, Michael J. Fox's foundation, you know, Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future, he's been dealing with Parkinson's. He survived Parkinson's probably for the last 30 years or so. And he had a severe case of it. Now, his foundation has written to the FDA to tell them to discontinue certain pesticides. And the reason why is because a link has been found between pesticides and Parkinson's disease. So when we are eating these foods that are treated with these pesticides, it's messing with our gut biome in a certain way, right? And it's probably just poisoning us right out. I don't know exactly how it affects us, but I think that it's messing with the gut biome and it's poisoning us. It's coming up at us from both ends. So it's very important that you try to get certified organic foods. Yes, they cost more money. The reason why they cost more money because their crops fail more because they're not using the pesticides all the way up. So they're losing a lot more of their crops, so they have to charge more money for the amount of work that they're putting in per unit of food. So it's going to be more expensive, but in the process of it's more expensive. So now in the process of doing that, you're going to potentially protect and save your quality of life. And that will help you, hopefully, so it's important to try to get food that doesn't have pesticides. Now there's I forgot what the name of the website is. I think it's EWG releases every year the Dirty 12, which the Dirty 12 is the most pesticide ridden foods in your produce in your supermarket. And some of the top pesticide ridden foods are like strawberries and kale, and I don't know what the other ones are, but you gotta I think you should look that up. Don't take my word for it. Because I only remember things partially. So that's all I wanted to say. It's important to eat organic if you want to protect your gut, if you want to protect yourself from being poisoned. We put our trust in others, to do a lot of things for us. We put trust in the other drivers on the street to drive properly. We put trust in the engineers who build the bridges to build the bridges properly. We put trust in the aviation industry to make sure that they don't dump the fuel on top of our heads when they're dumping the fuel before they land the airplane. We put trust in the insurance company. We send them our premiums and hope that they're gonna pay out when it's time. We put trust in the farmer. This is what I'm getting back around to. We put trust in the farmer to provide us with hopefully healthy food, but he might not know the ramifications of the chemicals he's using, or he might not be necessarily concerned because business-wise he has to survive and provide for his family, so he may not care too much about finding a more eco-friendly, a more holistic method of ridding the plants of pests. Let's see if I have some suggestions in my little brain, which doesn't have a lot of information. The one natural pesticide that is used is ladybugs. Ladybugs eat aphids and some of the other little small creatures around that would like to eat up your plants. So they do sell ladybugs. You can buy ladybugs and release them in your garden, release them in your neighborhood. They don't seem to cause any problems from my understanding. Yet, we're always finding out later on that the things that we do aren't holistic, introducing other flora and fauna into certain ecosystems. Oh my goodness, that's like it opens another can of worms. But ladybugs are known to be a good pesticide, like living ladybugs. They'll walk around and they'll eat all the little aphids, make sure they don't suck all the sugar from the leaves of your plants. I remember when I was young, we used to use ashes from burnt, like if we burned some wood, we used to use the ashes and we'll sprinkle it around the plants, and that will keep the slugs away. That will keep the slugs and the snails away from eating your plants. Now, I've never dealt with locusts, because where I'm from, there's no locusts. There are grasshoppers though, but there's so much foliage available for the grasshoppers, they don't really focus too much on the agricultural stuff. But during my formative years, I did see people using what is it called? Pesticides. But also, I also saw, when it comes to bananas, sometimes what they do is they'll wrap the banana fruit in plastic and then continue spraying pesticides on the plant itself. So, I guess that helps to keep some of the pesticides off of it. I think that's why they wrap the bananas in plastic. I'm not sure. But anyhow, let me now I'm just drifting. I'm drifting away from what I want to say, and I'm saying nonsense. So, but basically, the sum of what I was trying to say is try to get your organic foods. When you bring your foods and your fruits and all that stuff home, you make sure you wash them off. Try to wash them off and neutralize whatever pesticides are on them. I really don't know how you can neutralize the pesticides. Some people say if you wash your fruits in baking soda, it'll help. I'm not sure of that. Why is this person honking me? Oh man, people are silly. So that's really it. Maybe they're trying to get my attention. Oh, now they're driving like they're scared. Oh, it must be late, because why is the road so busy? Now I gotta drive fast. So yeah, try to eat organic, because it might save your gut biome. Of course, get your green apples, your malic acid, to kill the bad gut bacteria in your stomach, and get your probiotics to promote the good bacteria. There's so many probiotics, and I don't really understand how the whole different probiotic cultures work or whatever. There's like, yeah. So there's different probiotics that are available. There's a guy on YouTube called Dr. Berg, B-E-R-G. He seems to have a lot of good content. And, same old. Stay away from the sugar. The sugar makes all the bad yeast and the bad bacteria grow. You don't want to eat too much sugar, refined sugars especially. It also spikes your insulin, which is no good. I mean, we love sugar, man. I miss it. I still have sugary things. Let me stop. I miss... Now you... whatever. I miss my Dunkin' Donuts. I miss my donuts. I miss my latte. But I've been pretty consistent with God's help. Not that I haven't been weak. Not that I haven't been tempted. But so far, I haven't had any Dunkin' Donuts or lattes from Dunkin' Donuts in the past, I don't know, maybe 2 months. Anyhow, now I'm just rambling on. But yeah, stay away from the sugar. Try to get your organic foods. It might help to protect your brain and different parts of your body. It does matter. Before, I thought it wasn't really a big deal, especially when I look at the price of the organic food compared to the inorganic. People say a plant-based diet is expensive overall. I don't know about that. I don't know, because I've never been on a totally plant-based diet. I've always had at least fish integrated into my diet, so I can't say that. I can't confirm that. And yeah, so I wanted to say something else and now I can't remember it. What is it? Yeah, so organic. Oh, not all plants are created equal in the area of when it comes to pesticides. So I would definitely check out that EWG website. I think it's EWG. But if you go into Google or Bing and you look for foods with the highest level of pesticides, you're probably going to see EWG's information come up somewhere there. I know it starts with an E. Our next thing is not only the produce directly that we're eating has issues regarding pesticides, but also the processed foods, the foods that are processed from these pesticide-ridden foods. When they get to the factory, they wash them a little bit, maybe, I don't know, and then they process them in whatever way they process them, and then it becomes your crackers, your chips, your cereal, your whatever. And that food also contains the pesticide residue or contains pesticides in it. So not only do you want to buy organic produce, the things that you buy that are byproducts of those plants, you want to look at it and say that, see that it's organic. I see that a lot of the kids' foods nowadays are leaning towards that. And those are definitely a little more expensive, Like Honest Drink is organic, the honest juices, and they're not high in sugar. Those are pretty good. Capri Sun has a lot of sugar, but I don't know if it's organic or not. But I know that the Honest Drink juices are supposed to be organic. Anyhow, so look for the organic label on all of your stuff, because you don't want the pesticides all the way up to the time when they're reaping it. Not only is that important to you as the consumer, it's also important to the people who are out there farming and reaping and reaping the crops. The farm workers are also being affected. The farm workers are also being affected. So it helps to protect them also, to not buy stuff that has a lot of pesticides in it. Anyhow, thanks for listening.